My name is Matthew Albright, Philozenge. Today I'd like to touch on Aristotle, and how I'd like to present Aristotle today is kind of as a self-help guru. So if Aristotle was around today and he was trying to sell 1,000,000 books on Oprah, this is how he would present his philosophy on how to be happy. The thing to understand about Aristotle is, hopefully you're familiar with a bit of his metaphysics, but he believes everything has a function, everything has a cause, all right? And Aristotle, of course, is much more of a naturalist than what we saw in Plato. He's going back to the kind of pre-Socratic materialist. So he's looking to nature to find out the truths of the universe. He's looking towards the physical to figure out the truths of the universe. And like Darwin, 2 millennia later, he's looking around at nature to try and figure out how things work. His conclusions were a little different than Darwin, but the initial observations were the same. So he looks at a giraffe. Okay, Aristotle never looked at a giraffe, but if he were to look at a giraffe, he would see that the function of what the giraffe was supposed to do is really seen in its physical aspects. Right? It's got a long neck. It is perfect for eating things from high trees. An anteater has the long nose, which is perfect. It perfectly fulfills the anteater's function of eating ants. A basketball player, again, Aristotle never saw a basketball player. How about a discus thrower? Has the perfect body, has the body that is built, is natural for throwing a discus. In other words, the function of the person is reflected in the physical. So there's kind of as a contrast to Plato's idea, but Aristotle also carried along Plato's idea that if you want to get to the essence of a person, or in Aristotle's sense, the function of a person, you also had to go a bit into the metaphysical. You had to get into the soul. So Aristotle approaches this whole idea of function with one's function, what one is supposed to do in life, is written not only on our biology, but also it's written in our soul. So let's work on that a bit. If you want eudaimonia, he said, if you want happiness, then what you need to do is find your function. Once you find your function, you will find happiness. As equal and parallel to achieving this happiness, you will also be good. There's a moral aspect to it. You will be virtuous, and you will also be excellent. And excellence he is a very relativistic term in Aristotle, in the sense that he's saying, be an excellent you. A giraffe shouldn't try and be an anteater. An anteater shouldn't try and be a basketball player. A basketball player shouldn't try and be a football player. A basketball player, his or her function, is to be a basketball player. So, therefore, if you want happiness, if you want excellence, then be an excellent you. Okay, sounds very easy. How do you get there? Again, you borrow from Plato. Aristotle borrows from Plato, and you start with knowing thyself. Get to know who you are. And again, if we use Aristotle's idea, look at who you are physically, okay? What your body can do, even your mind can do, whether you're right or left brain, right? And then look at yourself on a perhaps more metaphysical level. Look at what you enjoy doing. Now, enjoy doing has to be hand in hand with what you're good at doing, or what you have a natural proclivity for doing. So if you're watching American Idol, okay, and you see all these poor blokes who are trying out for American Idol, yes, they might enjoy singing or performing, but if they suck, then Aristotle would say you don't really know yourself. You haven't really reflected on what your biological proclivity is. You cannot sing, Aristotle would say. So I don't care if you enjoy it, you're not built for it. All right? So always look to the physical, right? If you weigh 90 pounds soaking wet, you shouldn't try and be a football player. Look to the physical to figure out your function. But also look to what brings you happiness, what you're good at, what comes easily for you. Again, it's about being an excellent you. And if you think about how education, kind of alternative ways of learning, is presented today, it plays on that Aristotelian idea that not everybody is built the same way. Not everybody is good at the same things. People are audio learners, they are visual learners. Some people can do the lectures, some people have to use their hands, right? All of these, Aristotle would say, is perhaps a mixture of the physical, the mental, the metaphysical, and that should be a reflection of what your function is. Not only can you learn better that way, but you should pursue careers, pursue positions in life, pursue your function in life according to how you learn, how you speak to people, how you communicate to people. Aristotle might say that if you are unhappy with your current position in life, with your current function in life, let's say with your current job, then you probably haven't reflected enough on who you are, what you're good at, and what your function is supposed to be. Okay? You have not achieved happiness. And Aristotle would go even further and say you're doing something wrong. You're being non-virtuous. You're being evil in a sense because you're not carrying out the function that you are made to be. And Aristotle's idea is that we're all given this set of human attributes. We're all given fear. We're all given sadness. We're all given joy even. We're all given ideas of pleasure. We're all given ideas of jealousy and anger. We're all given this kind of this sack of attributes. And all of which, Aristotle says, helps you get to that kind of point of happiness, helps you get to eudaimonia. But it can also get you very far away from it. It's all about how you use it. And it's all about having the balance in using all of these attributes. So, Aristotle would say, you take something like fear. If you know when to fear something, Aristotle would call that courageous. You'll be virtuous. And notice that knowing when to fear something and knowing when not to fear something is very particular to the individual. For instance, I pretty much suck at snowboarding. All right. So when I see a triple diamond or whatever they call it, a black diamond run in front of me, I should fear that run because I am not good enough to go down that run without killing myself. Now, if you are an excellent snowboarder, then if you were to fear going down such a run, then that would be cowardice. Right? So cowardice, courage are all two sides of the coin of fear. Now, notice that courage is not having no fear. Courage is knowing when to fear. If you don't know when to fear, the other flip side of that coin is that you are fearless, and you're the show jackass, right? You do things which are just asinine that could probably kill you. And that's not courage either, because that's not using fear in a very balanced way. So here's our sack of kind of attributes, our sack of emotions, and it's all about when to use them. Good. I think that's where we'll stop. Be an excellent you.